Good afternoon. I hope you're having an amazing day. You had an amazing Monday. Today is Tuesday. And another video from me, and this is about Judaism, exposing Judaism, that it goes from about 2000 BCE, so it's one of really the oldest surviving religions. Judaism evolved from the beliefs of the people of the Canaan more than 3,500 years ago, and it's closely connected to the history of the Jewish people, isn't it? The Hebrew Bible, the Tanakh, tells not only the story of God's creation to the world, but also the story of his special relationship with the Jews, isn't it? The chosen people. God's agreement, or what they call covenant, with the Jewish people began with God's promise to Abraham that he could be the father of a great people. God told Abraham that his descendants must obey him and adopt the rite of circumcision as a sign of the covenant, and in return God could guide them, protect them, and give them the land of Israel. Abraham is a story, isn't it, of Abraham that we all know, or most of us know, that was rewarded for the faith with his son Isaac. He had a son, Jacob, who the Tanakh was given and was the father of the 12 tribes of Israel. Together, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are known as the patriarchs, the physical, spiritual, and ancestors of Judaism. I didn't know that. So Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Later, God appointed David, the anointed one, or Messiah, as king, from which came the belief that a descendant of him, the Messiah, could come to bring a new age for the Jewish people. And David's son, Solomon, built a permanent temple, didn't he, in Jerusalem, symbolizing the claim of the Jewish people on the land of Israel. But twice the Jews were forced from their promised land, and the temple was destroyed, first by the Babylonians, and again after they had returned, fallen under the Roman rule in the 1st century CE. As a result of foreign rule, the Jewish people became widespread. Inevitable, the geographical separation led to difference in the way Judaism developed between the groups, and various different religious traditions evolved. In Spain, I call the age of Jewish groups, and various different religions and traditions evolved. And it flourished between, I believe, the 10th and 12th centuries. And it was also the center in the Middle Ages of interest in the more mystical aspect of Judaism, which is known as the Kabbalah, which I will be doing some more videos, because the Kabbalah with the Tree of Life and the ancient tarot and the journey, the hero's journey is mesmerizing, so I'll be doing something to reveal that. There has been many different divisions in Judaism, like in any other religions, largely over matter of interpretation of Jewish law. An issue that divided the different branches of Judaism in the 20th century was the undermined status of women, like all religions, as they were not able to take part in religious ceremonies until recently. Today it's difficult to assess how many followers of Judaism there are, because many who identify themselves as Jewish are not actively religious. However, it's estimated that there are 13 million Jewish people in the world, the majority of them living in either North America or Israel. The covenant, or the pact with God, is the central concept of Judaism, where their followers must obey in order to gain God's favor, or the matrix gods, obviously, not the source, dating back to the core belief of the Israelites, sometimes called Hebrews, and ancient Middle Eastern people. Like people, followers of ancient religions in the Middle East, the Israelites were polytheists, but worshipped a main supreme God, one who they view as their protector. Jews obviously fear God's name, claiming it's too holy to be pronounced, so it became known by its four consonants, YHWH, like Jehovah or Yahweh, possibly pronounced like that, and also known by several other names as depicted in ancient representation of the Tree of Life, including Elohim, meaning God, as the matrix God. The Torah, at the first section of the Hebrew Bible, offers little in terms of to why God chose the patriarchs and their descendants of privilege above the other nations. The idea of choosiness implies separation and division between the true God's creation, portraying God as loving one of her expressions more than the other ones. It's not upon conditioned rather than unconditional love, isn't it? Some Jewish mystical traditions are prominent thinkers from modern denominations of Judaism reject any claims of essential difference between Jewish and not Jewish, which I think is brilliant, on the ground that implies superiority over other people. Traditional Judaism imposes its religion. It maintains the status in the covenant. It is transmitted from parent to child through the maternal line. This inherited status cannot be forfeited. A Jew who does not observe the commandments is judged as violating God's covenant. If there is only, think about it, yeah. It's only one God who is just and merciful, and as the Hebrew Bible states, that the most likely question I could ask is how can God preside over a world in which the righteous suffer? This is the theme of the biblical book of Job, which tells of a righteous man who questions how God could have allowed his terrible fortune. The Jewish God response suggests that he does not provide an answer. His rule over the world is beyond human understanding, of course, implying that God is superior to his creations, relinquishing the notion of universal oneness. The Jewish people are simply to accept that and question not. Throughout much of the recorded history, the people of Israel were ruled by kings. These were elected by God and were referred to as the Anointed One, or in Hebrew, Messiah. Originally, the Messiah was used for an anointed leader, but over time it came to refer to a specific ruler who could arise in the future to rescue Israel from those gods called their enemies. Some traditions speculated the Messiah to be an earlier ruler, others a heavenly figure, others a miraculous time when God's Spirit could reign on earth, when evil could be banished from earth, the rule of oppressive empires could be swept away, and people could live free of destruction and crime. And even so often through history, an exceptional individual, would appear like Jesus Christ, Muhammad, who some people thought might be the Messiah. One such person was Jesus of Nazareth, known to his followers as Christ or Messiah. And Jesus' followers, who became known as Christians, continued to believe that he was the Messiah after his execution by the Romans, but most Jews rejected this claim. The Messiah era was originally envisioned as a time when Israel would be redeemed and its oppressors could perish. Later, it was believed that it could also be a time of judgment for every person, living or dead, when the righteous could be rewarded and the wicked punished. Some say the righteous could live on in paradise, whilst the wicked could be condemned to a place of torment. Others believe on a final judgment when there would be a resurrection. The both ideas still persist in Jewish belief, and both the Messianic era and the individual afterlife are referred to as the world to come. And the one feature of Messianic belief that remains central in all streams of Judaism is, however, the belief that the human race and the Jewish people in particular have the ability to bring about a better future through righteous action. The core idea of German Reform Judaism led to the growth of progressive Jewish communities in most countries in the world today, and progressive thinkers have taken a more enlightened view, believing God to be an inseparable of the self rather than an external divinity, and some have absorbed the views of Jewish mystics who understand the entire creation as taking place within God, meaning that everything is God. Monotheism, or the belief in one God, became monism, meaning that there is only one, just one oneness, and that is God. These theological transformations meant a less rigid and fixed review of the Jewish rituals and observances, having women finally admitted into rabbinical schools in the 1980s, where women have been taking an increasingly active and at times a leading role in the synagogues. One of them, Theodor Herzl, a war manipulator who worked as a correspondent for the Neue Freie Presse, and as a theater writer, concluded that the establishment of a Jewish homeland in Zion was essential. Herzl promoted the ideas of Zionism, and this proposal marked the beginning of a modern Zionism as a political manipulated movement rather than a theological aspiration. Well, guys, I hope this is giving you a little view of Judaism and what's been happening. I think it's really good to understand religion and how people try to bring the mystical side of it and how it gets distorted. And it's like a little gameplay, isn't it? Also, I'd like to thank the people that came to the event this Friday for joining us. And more events will be done. I want to do another one in changing belief systems, a little bit of record and some more ancient practices, possibly in 2 or 3 weeks, as Source instruct. And I hope as many of you will join. And again, there is more people that joined the gate. So thank you to all the newcomers. There's going to be some amazing things coming this week in consent, more religions, and science, which science and quantum physics and mechanics and everything that we have about the reality of this world is coming to the gate. So, guys, any questions, anything amazing energy from the Merves? I'm loving it. I'm loving it, helping this world wake up. And with all my love and unconditionally, I love you. Till next video. Goodbye. And I've lost my mouse. Ah, it is. Goodbye.